The rain had not stopped for hours. It poured like the sky itself was grieving, like someone somewhere had just lost everything. Ethan Cole stood under the flickering streetlight, his expensive coat soaked, his hands trembling slightly, not from cold, but from memories he could never escape. He was one of the most powerful CEOs in New York, a billionaire whose name appeared on magazine covers, business headlines, and Forbes lists. But tonight, he was just a broken man. He stared at the old cafe across the street. The same cafe where everything had changed 8 years ago. The same cafe where he had lost her. Or so he believed. He had tried to forget. He had tried to move on. But some love stories refused to die. As he stepped inside the quiet cafe, the warm light wrapped around him like a memory he wasn't ready to face. And then, he saw her, sitting by the window, a stranger, or so he thought, until she looked at him, and softly said, "Do you still have the small crescent tattoo, near your heart?" The world stopped. His breathing stopped. Because only one person in the entire world knew about that tattoo. Her. And she had died 8 years ago. Ethan Cole was not born rich. He was born in a tiny apartment in Brooklyn, raised by a single mother who worked 2 jobs just to keep food on the table. Life was never easy. There were nights when dinner meant only bread and tea. There were winters when heating the apartment was a luxury they couldn't afford. But Ethan had one thing. A dream. His mother used to tell him, "Money is important, Ethan, but kindness makes a man truly rich." She passed away when he was 19. That day, something inside him broke forever. He promised himself he would never be poor again. He worked day and night. Studied harder than anyone. Took risks no one dared to take. And by the age of 32, Ethan Cole became the youngest CEO of a billion-dollar tech company. But success has a price. And Ethan had paid it in loneliness. Until the day he met her. Her name was Lily Carter. She was not rich, not powerful, not famous, just a quiet artist who worked in a small bookstore cafe. She wore simple clothes, tied her hair loosely, and had eyes that carried a calm sadness. Their first meeting was almost cinematic. Ethan was late for an important meeting. Coffee spilled on his shirt. His phone wouldn't stop ringing. Everything was chaos. And then, she smiled. "Rough day." He nodded. She handed him napkins. "You look like someone carrying the whole world on his shoulders." He laughed softly. "And you look like someone who sees too much." She didn't deny it. That was the beginning. Lily never cared about Ethan's money. She didn't even know he was rich for weeks. To her, he was just Ethan. A man who liked quiet evenings. A man who listened more than he spoke. A man who had pain hidden behind confident eyes. They talked for hours. About dreams. About fears. About childhood memories. About everything, and nothing. One night, they sat on the rooftop of Lily's apartment building. The city lights looked like stars fallen onto Earth. She pointed at the sky. "If life becomes too heavy, promise me you'll still look at the moon." Why? Because no matter where we are, we'll always see the same moon. That night, Ethan did something he had never done before. He trusted someone with his heart. He showed her the small crescent tattoo near his heart. "I got this when my mother died," he said softly. "It reminds me, even darkness creates light." Lily gently touched the tattoo. "It's beautiful." That was the first time he understood love stories are not always kind. 6 months later, Ethan's company was under investigation. Rumors spread. Media attacked him. Investors threatened to leave. Stress consumed him. And then, everything collapsed. A car accident. Rain. Slippery road. Hospital. Doctors shaking their heads. Lily was gone. Just like that. No goodbye. No last words. Just silence. Ethan stopped smiling after that day. He stopped believing in destiny. He buried himself in work. He became colder, harder, untouchable. People called him the Ice CEO. But inside, he was still standing in the rain, holding memories of a girl who loved the moon. 8 years later. The cafe still smelled the same. Coffee, vanilla, memories. Ethan sat down, staring at the stranger. She looked different, older, more mature, but her eyes, those eyes carried the same quiet sadness. "How do you know about the tattoo?" he asked, voice barely steady. She hesitated. Tears gathered in her eyes. "Because, I was there when you got it." His heart pounded violently. "That's impossible," she whispered. "My name is Lily. The cup slipped from Ethan's hand. It shattered, just like his understanding of reality. This isn't funny, he said coldly. Lily died 8 years ago. She nodded slowly. Yes, she did. Her real name was Isabella Hayes. She had survived the accident, but suffered memory loss. For months, she remembered nothing. No Ethan, no past, no love. A wealthy businessman had paid for her treatment. A man named Victor Hayes. Her father. A man who had abandoned her as a child, but returned when he discovered she was alive. Victor was powerful, influential, cold. He believed Ethan was responsible for the accident. He made sure Ethan never found out Lily survived. He took her overseas, changed her identity, controlled her life. But memories are stubborn things. Small fragments began to return. A rooftop, a crescent moon, a man with sad eyes, a tattoo, love that refused to disappear. She spent years searching, until she finally found him. You expect me to believe this? Ethan whispered. She showed him something, a small sketchbook. Inside, drawings of the moon, of rooftops, of a man standing alone, of a tiny crescent tattoo. Tears fell from Ethan's eyes. Because these drawings were made years ago, when she was still Lily. You used to say, the moon reminds you that darkness still shines, she said softly. He could not breathe, because that was his sentence. His secret, his pain, his love. I didn't come alone, she whispered. A little boy walked into the cafe. About 7 years old, curly hair, serious eyes, holding a small toy astronaut. This is Noah. Ethan felt the ground disappear beneath him. Our son. Silence swallowed the room. Ethan knelt slowly. Hi, Noah said shyly. Mom says you like the moon. Ethan laughed through tears. I love the moon. Noah smiled. Me too. Victor Hayes was furious. He tried to separate them again. He offered money, threats, legal pressure, everything. But this time, Ethan refused to lose her again. I don't need your approval, Ethan said calmly. I only need her happiness. Isabella looked at her father. For the first time in my life, I choose love. Victor saw something he had never seen before. Strength. He realized control cannot replace love. He finally stepped aside. The rooftop was still there. The same city lights. The same sky. Ethan held Isabella's hand. You came back. I never truly left. Noah pointed at the moon. It looks like your tattoo. Ethan smiled. Yes, it does. Love had waited. Love had suffered. Love had survived. Because real love never forgets the way home. True love does not depend on time, wealth, or status. Love survives distance. Love survives pain. Love survives even forgotten memories. Because destiny always finds its way back. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like heart. Comment your favorite moment crying. Subscribe for more emotional love stories sparkles. Share this with someone who believes in destiny. Dizzy.